Hello, this is the final video on JavaScript event. In this video, I'm going to cover event listener. You will learn how to attach an event to an HTML element using add event listener. We talk about different parameters you can pass to event listener, and we also learn about the capturing phase, enabling capturing phase using event listener, and finally we'll learn how to remove an event from an HTML element. Okay, let's start. If you look at this page, I do have a main tag with the ID wrapper, and I have two buttons in it. One I will demonstrate the click, and the other one just mouse over. And mostly I'm going to work on the click event because it's going to be similar for most of the event that you want to use for your JavaScript element. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write some codes to access these buttons. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to maximize this so we can see the result. So I'll create one. I'll call it b1 is equal document dot query string, and I simply look for the button, right? I do that for the second one as well. Just do it a little bit different. It's an odd way of doing it. I just wanted to show you that you can use this CSS to select these things. So I can do button plus button, the adjacent element. So in this case, I'm looking for a button that it comes right after the button, right? Also, let's go ahead and create a main one. And in this case, I want to go ahead and say document dot query selector. I'm going to select # wrapper. Okay, just to make sure everything is okay, I'm going to open the console, run these three just to be in the safe side, right? So we always test our work. So come over here, I put b1, b2, and main, so I can get them. Oh, sorry, main. Oh, I made a mistake somewhere. Did I? Let me see. Let's go back here, wrapper. Oh, I forgot the E, right? So that's why I couldn't find it. So now you realize how good it is to test your work. So I have all three ready to go. So what I want to do is, the very first thing I want to do, I want to add an event listener. We learned how to do this. If you remember, we could go and add a 2D element right here. We could go and say on click, do this. We also could go and type something like b1.on click equal a function that does what we need to do, right? Today we want to do this a bit differently, right? We always had a restriction with the DOM property and the HTML attribute when we add the event. So we're going to remove that restriction, which is adding the same type of event many times to the same element, right? But we can do that without the listener, and I'm going to show you in a few minutes. So let's go ahead and do this. So I'm going to use the add event listener. Simply I want to take care of the click in this case. If you remember when we did the DOM property, we had to use on click. Here we just say click, and then we have to specify the function that we want this to do things for us, right? So I'm going to go ahead and create a function. So in this case, just go to the next line so we can see things better. Okay, so let's go ahead and check this one. So the very first thing I want to do is I want to say alert click 1, right? So if I run this, let me go back to the browser. If I run this and click on this event, I should be able to get the alert box with the message. Okay, very good. Now what I want to do is I want to add the mouse over event to the second element, right? So I'll do that. I'll go b2 dot add. Let me just maximize this and bring this one a little bit higher. So I'm going to go ahead and do b event listener. In this case, I want to do mouse over, and the function I want to use, I'm going to use the arrow function. In this case, there is a big difference between the arrow function and the regular function using in the event. I'll talk about it in a second or in a few minutes. So here I can go say alert mouse over, right? So let's go ahead and check this one as well. So now if I go over this, I can simply see it triggers the event, right? So we're done with that one. What I want to do next is I want to go and add another event listener of type click to button 1. Okay, let's go back to our coding. I'm going to add an event listener to the main element as well, the onClick event. I want to go through the capturing and bubbling phase as well. If you remember on the first video, I showed the sample what happens when you click on an element, right? So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to add main.add event listener. I want to go ahead and add a click. I'm going to use arrow function again, simply because I just want to go ahead and alert main. That's all I want to do, so we know the main was clicked, right? So let's look at this. I go back to the document now, and if I click on this, nothing will happen. Let me just check the error message, please. So go back here, insert, go to the console, and then syntax error line 25. It's logged when it says main. Okay, let me just check this. So I have syntax error somewhere here. Okay. There you go. Right? So that should be nice now. So let's go back. I refresh this, no error here. I click on this, so I'll get click 1. And then I get the main. Do you see that? So now what happened is, if I go and click on main itself, it's going to trigger the event. Main in this case is the wrapper, right? But also if I go and click on the button, click 1 gets triggered first, and then the main, right? Now what happened is, if you look at the order of these elements, first is the main, and then is the click. Oh, sorry, is the button, right? So if you look at this, main is the parent, and then is the button click. But the way it represents, when I click here, first it shows the click 1, and then it shows the main. It means on the round trip from the top node coming all the way down and going back, what it does is we have the capturing on the left and the bubbling on the right. So in this case that I'm demonstrating now is the bubbling phase, because it first triggers the button click and then the main click. We can change this. We can change this to use capturing, or on the capturing state, I can say, okay, trigger the event. The way it works is this. If I go to the add event listener, there is another parameter. It's called use capture. And then I can simply go here and put true here. This means I want on capturing phase this to be triggered. Now, remember this is the parent, so I'm going to go do this as well here, right? So for the main and the V1, I made the use capturing to true. So let's go back. So if I click here, remember it was first it was click 1 and then the main. Look what happened now. So it goes from the top to the bottom. So this is capturing phase. So it goes to the main first, and then it goes to the click. Okay. So now that we have done this, I want to go ahead and add one more event listener to the B1 tag. Remember I said we can add the same type of events to the same element as many times as we want. That's one of the advantages of using add event listener. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me go back to my editor. So right here I would say b1.add event listener. This time I want to do click again, right? And I want to do it a little bit different this time. Now, so I'm going to go ahead and I say here, go ahead, open this. Okay. So let's see if this works fast. So I'm going to say alert, click 2, right? So let's see if everything is okay here. Just 1 second, please. Oh, okay, I forgot the comma. So I'm going back here, just make sure this works. So if I click on this one, I get main. Okay, click 1, and then I click 2, right? Now, what I want to do is I want to go ahead. Remember in the function that we attach to the DOM object or DOM property, we could simply refer to the current object as this keyword. When you're using arrow function, this changes. The this is referencing the windows in this case, right? So if I go here and I just go ahead and say console.log this, let's see what do we get here, right? So if I go back to the console, inspect the element, go to the console tab, and let's go ahead and clean this one and click. So we have main, 1, 2, and this is what we have. Look at this. This is the Windows object, is not the element anymore, right? If I want to access the element, the current element that this event was triggered for, I have to use the event object. Remember I said whenever an event listener, a function is called, JavaScript automatically pass the event objects to that function. So we can do that too here as well. So if I go here and say event.target, I'm actually talking about the element that I'm working with right now. Let me just go ahead and show you this. So if I go and click here, main, 1, 2, and do you see the target is the button that I'm working with. So with that one, I can simply go ahead and do whatever I need to do. So for instance, I can go here and say target.style.background, or let's do the text. This is a button. It doesn't have a value in that case, so I have to say inner text is equal, click here, right? So if I do that, go back to the browser, click, so main, click 1, click 2, and then on click 3, it should actually do this as well. Let me just check. Oh, of course, I wanted to style first, and then I wanted to change the content, so I forgot to remove the style. Let's go ahead and do it one more time. So I do click, main, click 1, click 2, and click here is changed. Look at this. So the value has been changed. I can of course do some styling too if I need to. For instance, I can go here and say event.target.style now background equal yellow, right? So if I do this, I go back to the browser, click on this, main, click 1, click 2, and then style is target. T is missing. Oh my God. Okay, click main, click 1, click 2, and then you can see not only the text is changed, but also the color has been changed as well. So up to now we have used the anonymous function or arrow function. I wanted to show you that you can actually use the actual function with this one too. So I'm going to add another one, b1.add event listener. Again, I do click, another click, right? And this time I will call the function do click, which I'm going to create right now, right? So I'll go ahead, create that function do click, right? Remember here you can pass the event as well if you need to. So right here I'll go and say click, sorry, alert, click 4. Was it 4? Yeah, 3 actually. Okay, click number 3, right? So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go back to the browser, and let's get the refresh. We have main, click 1, click 2, click 3, right? And then you can see that one is called. Let me do some changes here so you can see the result as well. So here, if I need to change this, remember this keyword makes sense here. This dot style dot background is equal FFCC maybe EE. I'm not sure what color is that. So let's go back to the browser, click, so main, click 1, click 2, click 3. Here you go, that's the color I was looking for, right? So remember, with the arrow function, I could not use the this keyword because this is referencing the window. I had to use event.target. Here I can use as long as is a function. Okay, now we have added this. Sometimes you want to remove these events from the same element. So in that case, I would just simply go and say b1.remove. Yeah, I guess the right event. The only thing you have to remember is you must follow the exact same parameters. So in this case, if I want to take out the last event listener, I have to write it the exact same thing. So as you can see, these two lines are very similar, except the method name, and one is the add event listener, the other one is remove event listener. So let's go ahead. We should not have the third one anymore. Okay, perfect. And if you remember about the capturing and the bubbling phase, I said the last parameter is it can be true. This means capturing has to be enabled. By default is false, right? And I want to show you one other thing too. So I have the add event listener with the click, do click, and the true value for use captioning, but for the remove, I do not have that one. Do you think this event will be removed? Let's try. So I click here, 1, 2, 3, right? It's not going to be removed because the parameters does not match. Make sure when you remove, the event, the function, and the use caption are all matching with the add event listener. So if I go back here, click again, 1, 2, and 3 is gone. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.